Hello everyone and welcome back to the Outerhaven YouTube channel. It is I, Getselious, and I'm here to give you another review of a game I've been recently playing. And that game I've been recently playing a lot of is ReignBreaker. ReignBreaker is an action roguelike where you play as Clef, where you use your javelin and your fist to smash up robots in this steampunk kind of universe where things went bad pretty fast because everyone's brainwashed by a broadcast and or a robot key queen thingy. It's weird, it's punk, it's cool, the music is great. I'll probably get more details about it in the review. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to be notified when this go live. And I definitely want to give a huge shout out to Thunderful Publishing for allowing myself and the Outerhaven team to play this game. So let's get into it. The first thing that the devs, Studio Fezbin, has answered for us. Fezbin, haha, because Bin Ben, haha. They should let me know if you guys if it's Fezbin or Fezben in the comments below. So they do let you pet the dog. In this case, not a dog; it's a cute bell, a little bell thingy. I call him Belly. You can pet Belly. If it has an official name, let me know. But you can pet him. So they answered the first question. Five out of 5. Let's continue the game. Game's over. Don't talk about it. I kid. But let's go more into what sets this game apart compared to other action roguelikes. And let's talk about the first thing that matters in any video game is the graphics and aesthetics. Graphically, this game is pretty impressive, has a very colorful style. You may have seen this art style before graphically in games such as other action like Hades or other, but this one comes a little more comic-y. It's more comic book based. It definitely has that very grungy kind of like late 90s, early 2000 noir kind of look. I love how it looks. The aesthetics is just great. It's steampunk, it's punk. The music I'll get into later is excellent, and it ties it all together. Overall, I gotta give the graphics and aesthetics a hard 5. It hits all the points well. Story beats and looks and how everything is fits this very punkish, this very like comic book-esque. It definitely has a lot of, like, I want to say, influences from, like I say, later comic books, and influences from, I want to say, if the art team is listening, I think you guys liked Berserk a lot, or you guys liked Mongolian Death Squad, or like those type of like animes or whatever. But I'll give you that in a nutshell. And as I leaned before, let's go to the audio, how the game sound, and sound effects. Overall, the game has voice acting, and the voice acting is pretty good. Though I can't tell if the voice actors are Welsh, Scottish, Irish, or British because I don't know the difference. But it sounds of those regions. I'm sorry, I'm butchering it. I'm a Creole person, so I do not know the difference between anything. I know the difference between other French, not other Englishes. So you can always correct me in the background. But overall, the voice acting is excellent. Clef sounds great when they speak. The other characters, such as the Blood Doctor, the Vandal, the other knight, I forgot, the Queen sounds great. I feel like the cast just sounds great. The sound effects when you punch and smash up sounds great. The music is an excellent ensemble. I love the guitar riffs. The main theme is a banger, and I mean that banger. I do not know if the game is selling an OST, but I will. If they would, I would gladly drop some dough for it. I love the music of the game. There are some points of the song that gets repetitive, such as the when you're fighting in lockdown rooms, that theme's repetitive. It's a good song, but after the 10th try, it gets a little bit Wish some diversity for the lockdown music, but overall, still a good swap. I gotta give it a solid 5. The audio is good. The music is fantastic. It, again, fits the aesthetic. They both complement each other so well. So, let's get into the meat and potatoes of every video game. Let's talk about the gameplay. This is an action roguelike akin to other action roguelikes such as, I would say, Hades or Curse of the Dead Gods, where you beat stuff up, get power-ups. Those power-ups make you more powerful. With RNG, you can build really strong combos and beat everything more up. You also get more weapons you can customize your weapons for more spears. There is a spear that shoots shotgun blasts, a spear that shoots tornadoes, there's a spear that gets that shoots a bomb. There are spears, and each of those spears can be added different effects, such as damage over time, lock down enemies with an ability called root. Some can display sticky bombs to detonate over time. There's a whole bunch of ways to customize these things. Another thing this game does, similar to other action roguelikes, is that there's many javelins you could choose and upgrade those javelins. They do many cool things, such as I mentioned, sticky roots, bomb, etc. Another thing you can also do is that after every run, success or defeat, you're able to use your resolve, the pink gems you get from defeating bosses, minions, and statues, to upgrade your character. Depending on how many successful raids you've done, you get more slots. So the more runs you are successful in, the more powerful you can make Clef, with more abilities such as more life, or revivability, movement, decreasing your heat gauge, which heat is very important in this gauge. Heat gauge is the ability to use your lance attacks. Your lance attacks allow you to slam, chuck, and everything. To recover your heat from those lance attacks is to punch your enemy. Pretty straightforward. Now, there are upgrades in the game that allow you to reduce heat from dashing, continuing combos, and etc. There are essentially, I believe, if I count with my head, there is the knight, you get the doctor, you get the trapper, and the mercenaries, and all of them provide builds for you to customize a character to help build towards whatever you're gonna do. Now, the only complaint I have about this game about that is that though these characters are pretty cool, unlike Hades in Hades 1 and 2, you don't really have a way to confront them. They just feel like the voice acting is done, you engage with them, but it's kind of a bummer you don't fight them or engage them in any ways. Such as in Hades, you can, if you choose one boon or the other, there's a boon room, one of the gods will be mad at you and fight you because you chose one favor over the other. This one doesn't happen as much because all of them are your enemies. The doctor wants you dead. So the Night Sister, she's kind of confused, but you're still an enemy to her. Mercenaries, they're only for the coin, but they want you dead too because they're serving the queen. Screw that queen. She could go chuck in the river. But gameplay-wise, a lot of combinations with that. Though the game has a great way of gradually getting you into it because there are essentially 6 raids in the game plus extra content. The first raid is just one boss, the second boss first, and they go in it. The only problem I have with the raids is that some of them are a bit repetitive in layout, and you fight them roughly in the same order. There isn't much mix-up to it, in a way, while I would say that, even, again, I'll compare it to Hades or Curse of the Dead Gods, the first boss is usually the same. I guess that's okay in some regards, but I kind of wish they mix it up, where instead of fighting the wheel key boss, you could fight the Chimera first. Maybe it's a way to mix it up, make it be more interesting, but again, power level scaling and all that jazz. So basically, it can get repetitive in that regard when you're doing a run. It's like, oh, I know this boss is coming up first, I fight this boss first, and the second boss and third boss, etc., etc. So that's about it. The map layout can be a little bit repetitive in a way because there's not much diversity in the map design. After your 6th to 7th run, and I'm not even saying raid, well, let's say you get to your 3rd or 4th raid. That's when the game really gets its difficulty. I currently managed to get to the 5th and 6th raid. No spoilers to the story. It's really cool. It gets a bit repetitive. You kind of know all the map layout as it is. One of the things I find I don't like as much from a speed standpoint, after you get successful at each raid, when you finish one Bastion floor or click one room floor, or I guess some people call it biomes, is that you now get to the room, you can get a new javelin that can power you up in your next run. Those javelins are sometimes tied to a timer. Now, I've noticed that from, I believe, from Raid 1 to Raid 5, the only difference between the javelin is just how fast you have to get there. Meaning it goes from, let's say, 4 minutes to 3 minutes to 2 minutes. And I'm like, that doesn't really feel like a great difficulty test. And you don't really have to finish it that quickly in order to get the javelin. You can still get the javelin by getting lucky with RNG or beating bosses for it, or finding them in shops or in statues. So you can still get it that way. But I kind of feel like maybe those time meters should be set a little bit, because shutting it off by a minute is a bit crazy. because it just kind of, you know, race to the end, blah, blah, blah. There are some cool characters in between your floor running in the Bastion. You're running to the trench coat rat kid. I believe in you, Clef. Get him! Like, that's cool. They also run a shop you can buy stuff. So, you know, that's kind of decent. Also, in between every, I would say, a certain amount of floors, there's always a room that says heal, buy stuff, upgrade stuff, etc., etc. That's great. I personally think that the diversity of builds in the game are okay, but if I want to be very, very like, a little sweaty here, I think you'll probably know, once you get certain abilities, you realize it's very strong, like damage over time. You'll realize reducing heat's a big deal. Heat capacity is a strong point of deal. There's also combo abilities you get from the Mercenary Guild, which is, I think a lot of them are just insanely powerful, and I deeply love them. I think they're great. I think they're, like, awesome. I would gladly keep doing it if I could. They're awesome abilities. So, but you'll realize what's powerful very easily and not deviate from it. There's one lance I feel like is insanely weak in this game, and I hope the devs have a way to balance it, is the blast one. The blast javelin, essentially if you slam it or chuck it, it detonates at a set time, vicinity. By doing it, it does a big boom damage, but it kind of hurts your combo meter or what you're trying to do because that blast will hurt you. I don't mind the blast hurting you because that's rough. I think it's 200 damage. That's pretty spicy. There should be a little drawback to it, but you do lose a lot of combo potential in it, and I do feel like combo potentials are kind of very strong in this game. So, you know, maybe there's a way to buff it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not playing it right. If someone else played the game, let me know. I also feel like the game has some good enemy diversity, where there's enemies that are immune to fist attacks, or enemy immune to throw attacks. You got to figure out combos to beat them. It's really fun. So overall, how do I feel about this very diverse, very fast, very quick gameplay? Though there are some similarity to Hades, I give the gameplay a 4. The reason why I give it a 4, because there isn't more diversity to it, and there are about, in my opinion, from playing the game, about 2 to 3 builds that are just strong enough to beat everything, and they're very easy to find. There isn't much diversity in a lot of stuff you can do, but it isn't really a bad thing because you can still mess around and find out. I hopefully wish they add more content so there could be other ways to play stuff. That'd be cool. And the enemy variation is a little bit on the weaker side. That's why I give it a 4. That's pretty much it. It plays smooth and everything, but it gets repetitive in the wrong ways because once you see everything at your third, fourth, or fifth raid, you like, okay, I get it essentially. So overall, let's talk about the final score. What do I give this game? What is this game about? This game has excellent music. It has excellent art. Great voice acting. It plays smooth. It's a very fun and fast concept to get to. The gradual scaling this game does is fantastic. There's tons of power-ups and unlockables where you can customize your character, customize Clef to be the ultimate damage dealer in the way the playstyle get, plus or minus RNG. Now, do you need all those abilities to beat the game? No, but it's up to you to choose so. What do I think how this game plays overall? Honestly, my final score for this game is a rock solid 4. I feel like this game needs more content. It needs more juice in it. I enjoy it for what it is. It's a fun action roguelike. I love its art direction. I love its music. It's very similar to other action roguelikes I play, but not enough where it has more diversity in its enemies and in its fight structure, somehow it works. But that doesn't mean it's not a good time. It's an excellent game experience. If I had to tell you right now, honestly, I would say get it now. Get it now. Get it now because the game comes out on March 18th, 2025. Get it now because it's still a fun game. The game has a lot of exploration, how you fight and kill people and how you beat enemies and bosses. The only thing I feel the repetitive nature from it hurts it is because there's a lack of diversity of enemy types. And there are certain builds that are just so strong. Once you learn them, and it's very easy to learn them, there's no reason not to do it. And I mean default strong builds. I'm not talking about your RNG if you got, oh no, my run is over because I didn't get Trapper or Scratch damage, or I didn't get the Lancer Girl stun throw. Trust me, you can win those with or without those. The game's core power level is strong enough where, much like I recommend for people who like Hades to try this game out, is that your core power level is strong enough where the RNG helps you get stronger. It isn't deeply needed. Deeply needed in a way. Probably I can say that you cannot win a run without some type of heat reduction ability. That's it. Everything else, go for it. And I do love the various weapon damage types in this game, from bleed to rust to spray can, the spray can buff that lets you do spray can damage, to rooting, to sticky bomb. It's insane how much power you can get from like buying it and putting it all together, massive damage. And I also deeply love combo. If you get a combo build going where you no longer lose combos when you get hit. I do love the fact that you can do damage scaling based on combos. I love that. That is such a cool ability, and I love that. I even like trap build. I recently had a trapper build where if I, kill an enemy, a trap drops. I'm giving the trap, and if I kill a trap enemy, my scratch damage, which is damage you take, instantly heals. And at one run I had, I was fighting the queen, which a little spoiler here. I bought the ability that says all damage taken scratch damage. So I took a bunch of scratch damage, I crit, I healed myself back to full. It was pretty much like the easiest wipe ever seen. It was crazy. But this game allows that craziness to happen. I'm okay with that. That level of bustedness is really, really fun. I recommend it. I just hopefully wish there was more content in the game and more boss fights or other ways to play it. And another complaint I have is I do find a lot of side characters interesting, but you don't really interact with them outside of opening the doors or breaking the vaults for them. It's just kind of saddening. I wish I could fight them or see them in a Bastion or some other way. Again, I got to raid 5/6 towards the end game. So if they were presentable towards the end game, I will take back that sentiment because I do think that a lot of them are cool characters. I like how they're drawn. I love how they interact. I think they're really cool. I generally wish hopefully, I really mean it seriously, I hope this game is successful for them so they make a sequel or another game of this style. I love their art direction. I love how the game smoothly plays. I can't wait to see more from Studio Fezbin or Fizbin. Again, correct me because I said Fezbin because I had the E and the I. I'm so weird, but Studio Fizbin. Let's say Fizbin. The developers will correct me in the comments below. But this is Getselious signing out on ReignBreaker. Go cause some anarchy. Try the game if you want. The demo was available at Steam Next Fest. The demo hopefully is still up. You could try it there. But I also deeply recommend you play this game. If you love action roguelikes, you'll definitely should check this to try. It's just a really, really fun game, and I love how the game's difficulty scales really well to you so you get better at it. So, can't say many more things about it. This is Getselious signing out, and I hope you guys bring some anarchy to this world, and I hope you have a good one. And this is me signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.